Good morning, class. Welcome to our new topic. In this video, you will learn more about the Japanese literature. I also included a short information about Japan, a now developed country. We will also discuss the Haiku and Tanaka. These are the most preserved forms of poetry in the Japanese literature. So let's get started.
So who invented haiku? Before we understand how to write a haiku, uh, let's see who invented haiku first. Well, there were four master haiku poets from Japan. They are known as the Great Four: Matsubasho, Kobayashi Isa, Masaka Shiki, and Yosubo San. And please excuse my accent here because this is what I understand. This is how they are pronounced. So their work is still the model for traditional haiku writing today. Haiku can be traced back as far as the 9th century, but it was properly introduced in 13th century. A haiku is considered to be more than a type of poem. Why? Because it's a way of looking at the physical world and seeing something deeper, like the very nature of existence. So, you see, it's all about nature. Do you see the picture here? It has 3 lines in it. You see that? It's a Japanese writing. But then, as you can see, there are 3 lines of haiku. Along with it, it describes there is a painting of mountains and a waterfall and bushes. And that's what the haiku is all about. It's all about nature. It should leave the reader with a strong feeling or impression. So if you're writing about, let's say, your own, let's say if you're talking about Pakistan, or we can talk about northern areas, we can talk about Balochistan. Balochistan is very beautiful. We can talk about Sindh. We can talk about Punjab. Whatever you wish to write. But by the end of the day, the reader must be left with a strong feeling, right? Or with an impression. So let's see what a haiku is. Haiku is a traditional Japanese 3-line poem with 17 syllables. Syllables, I hope you know what syllables are. Well, I'm going to explain further. Then it is written in 575 syllable count. Please keep in mind that although it's a form of poetry, but it doesn't rhyme. So that's a good thing. Whatever you're going to write, it doesn't have to rhyme. However, it often focuses on images from nature. So when we are writing our haiku, we make sure that we make a beautiful picture with it so that we can, describe it further with words. Now, haiku emphasizes simplicity, intensity, and directness of expression. For example, here there are 3 examples of haiku. Number 1 is hummingbird. Now we all know that hummingbirds are very small. They're as small as bees. They're very small. So it says chirping in the trees. Well, that's true. It's a bird, so it'll chirp. In mid-air with beating wings. Yes, they beat their wings so fast that you can hardly see their wings. They do that. So that's another good point. And then tiny precious bird. Yes, it's very tiny and it's very precious. They normally get their food from flowers, so they're quite close to the nature of bees. Now, how do we count the syllables here? First line should have 5 syllables. Second line should have 7 syllables. And then the third line again must have 5 syllables. So chirping, chirping in the trees. Chirping in the trees. Can you count how many are they? Chirping are 2. And then in, that's 1. The, that's another 1, and then trees, that's also 1. So altogether, chirping in the trees, that's 5. Now, in mid-air with beating wings. Now, beating are 2 syllables, so that makes it 7. Now, the last one, tiny. Tiny are 2 syllables. Tiny precious. Precious, again, 2 syllables. And then bird is 1 syllable. That is how you will count your syllables and make sure that you follow the rule of 575, right? So they're all together 17 syllables, right? Again, the person who wrote this haiku is Miss Lawson, and she made a little hummingbird along with the poem. So this is what I want in your notebook as well. When you're writing your haiku poem, make sure you make your beautiful picture along with it. Then the second one is by Miss Larson again, and it's waves. Now, what are waves? They're curling blue water. Yes, they do curl. It's like blue water is curling in the sea, splashing at the sandy shore. So curling blue water. That's curling 2, blue is 1, water is 2. Again, so there are 5. Splashing at the sandy shore. Splashing at the sandy shore. That's 7. Then beautiful ocean, right? Beautiful ocean. That is beautiful 3 syllables, and ocean are 2 syllables. So that is 575 again. The last one is mountains, also by Miss Larson. Whoa, reaching to the sky, birds singing in the pine trees, home for animals. You see, mountains are mostly known for these evergreen pine trees, and that is what the picture here tells us. It's pine trees, and they represent, because they're very tall, so they represent mountains as well, because they're normally grown very close to the mountains. Reaching to the sky, that's what mountains are. They're very, very high. Birds singing in the pine trees. Yes, pine trees grow very close to the mountains. So, home for animals. So, who invented Tanka? We discussed the topic haiku earlier, and now we're discussing the topic Tanka. We know there were several people who came together to invent haiku, but Tanka was known as waka earlier, and it was reformed into a poem as Tanka. Why? Because Tanka was earlier just a 1-line poetry, and it had 31 syllables, but then it was later distributed into 5 lines. Just like haiku, haiku is divided into 3 lines, and the same thing, it is not rhymed, so it is easy to come up with a Tanka. So the sketch from life form of waka or Tanka was further developed by Saito Mochishi, 1882-1953. This guy he was born in 1882 till 1953, into a kind of selective realism. The original 31-syllable form was still retained, as waka were reformed in various ways and by various groups of poets who united to decide on giving the name of Tanka. So what do we understand? Tanka is a poem. It is the oldest form of Japanese poetry, so it is even older than haiku. Tanka poems are similar to haikus. Very well. So it'll be easy for you to come up with Tankas, because we've already done haiku. Tanka was originally a 1-line poem with 31 syllables. We have already discussed that, but then later it was distributed into 5 lines, and then it was given the syllables 5, 7, 5, 7, 7. Tanka poems are usually about nature, love, and seasons. Same thing, haiku is almost the same. It is about nature, it is about seasons, and about love. And same thing comes here as well. Tanka poems are usually about nature, love, and season. Shows a complete picture of an event or mood. It was 1300 most important form of Japanese poetry. Now, Japanese people, they're very poetic. They love to describe things in poetry, and that is why there are about 1300 most important form of Japanese poetry. Okay, what is Tanka? Once again, the Tanka is a 31-syllable poem traditionally written in a single unbroken line, but a form of waka, Japanese song or verse. Tanka translates as short song and is better known in its 5-line, that is 57577 syllable count form. We all know that haiku is a 3-line
poetry, but here this is 5-lined and it is divided into 57577 syllable. Now, there are some examples of tankas here. Wind blowing on my face, making my cheeks rosy red. It's biting my nose and chilling through all my bones. It is pushing me along. So this is something you can say it's about chilling winter season. Okay, another one. The leaves change color when the fall winds start to blow. Yellow, orange, and brown are colors of the fall leaves slowly falling from the trees. So this could be autumn. It is practically telling us about autumn. Then pretty colored trees that are orange, red, and yellow in the autumn air, an old barn by the water with a white fence around it. Right? So that is how it is done.